There's some people that just walk into a room and then you remember them, and then there's others that fade into the background. Research from Princeton University has found that people make judgments about things like attractiveness, likability, trustworthiness, competence, aggressiveness within, would you believe, a tenth of a second of seeing someone's face. Let's apply this to the digital space and your personal brand. Your LinkedIn profile photo, for example, your Instagram grid, the headline in your email signature. These all really create elements that are creating first impressions constantly, even while you sleep. I worked with a client recently. Her LinkedIn photo was from a wedding 10 years ago. Maybe instead of saying something like, I'm just a marketing consultant who helps businesses improve their social media, you might go, I help forgotten brands become unforgettable. Your elevator pitch is your headline. You'll lose all credibility as soon as you open your mouth and speak. The way you speak can either reinforce or ultimately undermine that first impression. How to make people remember you instantly. There's some people that just walk into a room and then you remember them, and then there's others that fade into the background. Welcome to the Kelly Lundberg Podcast, where we talk about strategies that help you build upon a powerful personal brand. And being memorable is one of those key pieces to having a successful personal brand. I'm Kelly Lundberg, and today I'm talking about something that I think affects probably nearly every single one of us, whether we realize it or not. People decide in less than 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whether you're worth their time or not. What's your first impression? So here's the thing, 3 seconds, not 3 minutes, not 30 seconds, just 3 to 5 seconds to make an impact. And that could really determine whether someone follows you on social media or hires you or even just remembers you at all. The science behind first impressions is absolutely fascinating. Research from Princeton University has found that people make judgments about things like attractiveness, likability, trustworthiness, competence, aggressiveness within, would you believe, a tenth of a second of seeing someone's face. A tenth of a second. That's faster than you can say, hiya or hello. And unless you're Scottish and you can speak as fast as I can in less than 3 seconds, there is not much that someone can actually judge on in 3 seconds. Or so you might think. But here's what's even more interesting, that these snap judgments are really remarkably persistent, and ultimately the exposure to the same person doesn't significantly alter that first impression. It can actually just reinforce it. So what's happening to our brains during these moments? So our amygdala, the threat detection center, activates immediately when we see a new face. So before our conscious mind has actually a chance to process, who someone is, our brain has already decided whether they're friend or foe. And ultimately, is our attention worth it or not? And this isn't just a kind of prehistoric survival instinct at work. Again, the studies and research I did when I was looking at recording this episode was the Harvard Business School research shows that these rapid impressions really do correlate strongly with future decisions about who we trust, again, who we hire, maybe who we marry, and who we remember. So in today's hyper-stimulated world, on and offline, where attention spans are measured in seconds, which is true when we scroll rather than minutes, this idea is just intensified. We've become expert filters through rapidly sorting the noise when we scroll something, for example, to decide if this deserves our precious attention or not. Let's apply this to the digital space and your personal brand. Before you ever speak to people, they've already encountered your digital persona. Most people have. So let's take your LinkedIn profile photo, for example, your Instagram grid, the headline in your email signature. These all really create elements that are creating first impressions constantly, even while you sleep. I worked with a client recently, let's call her Sarah, who couldn't understand why she wasn't getting traction with potential clients despite her amazing credentials. But here's the thing, when we audited her online presence, the issue became really clear. Her LinkedIn photo was from a wedding 10 years ago. Her headline was really vague and generic, and her profile summary read a little bit more like a tech manual rather than inviting someone to connect. So we revamped her digital first impression, and within weeks, her response rate tripled. Nothing about her experience or skills had changed, just the way she presented herself in that crucial first 3 seconds. So here's what your digital presence should communicate in those first moments. Visual consistency. Your photos and color schemes should align across all your platforms. Clear expertise. So like your headline, your bio, they should say or state what you do and for whom. And I think the small touches that reveal who you are beyond your job are just part of your personal brand. And then you want to look for subtle indicators of your authority, trustworthiness, if you won awards, or, remember someone isn't seeing your profile, isn't reading it word for word. They're like scanning and looking for signals that want to see whether it's worth that they invest their time in getting to know you. Investing in some new pictures is one of the best things that you can do for your profile. Jill, one of our clients, did this recently and had amazing feedback. And then there was Emma, who I encouraged to take photos with her dog Junior, which added a lovely personal touch to her content as well. And these small changes can really make an enormous difference in how people perceive you online before they actually meet you in person. So before we even get to the power of your vocal image and your elevator pitch, it doesn't matter because you'll lose all credibility as soon as you open your mouth and speak. So Vim, one of the leading communicators in the world, talks about the 5 foundations to vocal image. And he went into detail on this on the Diary of the CEO: rate of speech, volume, pitch and melody, tonality, and pause. So the way you speak can either reinforce or ultimately undermine that first impression. So let's break it down a little bit. Rate of speech, speaking too quickly can make you seem nervous and untrustworthy maybe, while speaking too slowly might make you appear unsure or very boring. So it's all about finding that optimal pace and one that really conveys your confidence. Volume. Your volume should really match the environment and context. Too quiet, you may seem a bit too timid, and too loud may seem a little bit aggressive. The key is appropriate modulation for this setting. Pitch and melody, well, let's face it, monotone delivery will lose your audience, but really pitch and melody is about varying your pitch and interest and emphasizing different points. And Vim talks about this. It's really crucial in the first few seconds too. And the tonality is all about the color in your voice and your face and the warmth and the tone and the rapport and how you come across from smiling. And all of those aspects combined with pausing, give weight to your words, and allow important points to sink in. You should check out the Diary of the CEO episode, by the way. It was really good with them. They all demonstrate confidence and that you're not rushing to fill a silence when it comes to pause. I once worked with a tech entrepreneur who had perfect visual branding, but sounded completely flat when he spoke. So we focused on his personal brand, adding a little bit more melody and pause with impact. And within weeks, his meeting conversion rate had improved massively. And the content really of his pitch hadn't changed massively. So it's just in the delivery. So vocal image just isn't about what you say, it is about how you say it. And in those first 3 seconds, the how often matters more than the what. So then you've got your elevator pitch. So moving beyond sort of digital, that all important first in-person impression of someone. And the elevator pitch. So the elevator pitch comes from an idea that you should be able to explain who you are and what you do in the time it takes to ride an elevator, about 30 seconds. But given what we know now about those crucial first 3 seconds, your elevator pitch is your headline, your 3-second statement, the opening line that makes someone go, I want to hear more about what you're talking about, and I want to hear more about your story. So maybe instead of saying something like, oh, I'm just a marketing consultant who helps businesses improve their social media, you might go, I help forgotten brands become unforgettable. And the second statement can be about being curious or intrigue or maybe a bit more attention. And you want to think about the hook in the first 3 seconds that creates interest, and also what problem that you're solving. I help blank to blank, and then by your solution, your unique approach to that challenge. And then if you've got a micro story that can prove your impact, I think that always really helps. And a question, an invitation to continue the conversation. I think, given sort of maybe personal experience, I often talk about, I help experts become irreplaceable in their industry. So many brilliant professionals or entrepreneurs remain invisible because they haven't learned how to package their expertise into a memorable brand. And I do this through my Brand You Accelerator program. I've helped clients like James, a financial advisor who was charging $500 per consultation, now commands $5,000 for the same service, but just by repositioning his brand. What about you? What do? You get the idea. So we want to really see if we can get this exchange under 30 seconds. But really that first 3 seconds is what it takes to, I think, make a difference. So the key to storytelling in these quick interactions is focusing on transformation rather than process. People don't remember what you do, but they remember the change that you create or how you make them feel, which I think is as important. So when it comes to perfecting that 3-second impact, how do you do it? So let me share with you some actionable strategies that you can implement for your digital presence. Audit your photos. So have 5 people, look at your profile pictures for 3 seconds and write down 3 adjectives that come to mind when they're thinking about your brand. Then I want you to consider your bio, your biography. So your first line should be specific, intriguing, avoid kind of jargon, and focus on inspiring outcomes. Think about conscious color palette. You could use Canva to help you with this. Find 2 or 3 colors that reflect your brand personality and use them across the platform so people instantly think of you. For me, that's yellow. It's something we do for our clients who maybe aren't comfortable with designing their own personal brand assets. We do them for them, and we've done some incredible ones. And then for your in-person, your 3-second statement, you should communicate your value, create curiosity, test different versions with strangers, see what works, see what feels comfortable. Bear in mind non-verbal communication, so warmth and competence. How are you communicating that through your body language practice? Are you using hand gestures, confidence, posture, eye contact, smile? And then develop a signature style element. So coming from the fashion industry, this is something that's key, a color, a unique accessory. Maybe it's a personalized greeting that make people remember you. In my book, DC the Lemon, I talk about, there's a chapter and I talk about never trust a man in Crocs. I'll let you read that one, but there's more to be said in that. And I think you want to also consider, how you introduce yourself, Keep practicing that elevator pitch. As I shared my example earlier about how I work with them, you need to keep working on that. So the idea of a powerful, strong first impression is that it could turn into a referral before you even enter the room. So you don't get a second chance at making a first impression. So really make it count. Those first 3 seconds, whether they're online, they're in person, really set the path for every relationship that follows. And by understanding a little bit more the psychology behind first impressions and strategically creating that 3-second impact will make you more memorable and stop you from being just another face in the crowd to memorably and remarkably standing out. Remember, your digital presence is making a first impression 24/7. Your elevator pitch needs a powerful headline, and I think there just needs to be consistency, reinforced for your memorability. Small actions, de-seed the lemon, the small touches make the big difference, because the beauty of the 3-second rule is once you understand it, you can leverage it. And you want to be deliberate rather than just leave it for chance, because every opportunity, whether that's someone seeing your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram grid, or they meet you at a networking event and you stand out because of a color that you're wearing, is working for you and not against you. I'd love to hear your experiences with first impression. Has someone made a good one or a bad one? Have you completely ever misjudged someone based on a quick interaction? Or have you deliberately changed something about your presentation or how you've improved yourself? Share your thoughts in the comment or reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. And if you found value in today's episode, then please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a review. It really helps other ambitious professionals who also want to be more memorable find this content. And until next time, remember, you've got 3 seconds to make an impression that lasts. Make it count. Until next time, bye for now.